US dollar has been the worldwide reserve currency for nearly 80 years. Unfortunately, the purchase power of the dollar has been steadily falling since we abandoned the gold standard in the 1970s. With the Federal Reserve's massive money printing and the government's debt and deficits over the last 2 decades, it's no wonder that governments all over the world have lost faith in the dollar's stability. Indeed, the dollar's slide during the coronavirus pandemic generated new fears that the currency would lose its reserve currency status. As a result, the dollar's status as the world's reserve currency is shaky and likely to remain so as far as the eye can see. So, what happens if the US dollar, king of all currencies, loses its place as the world's reserve currency? Before we go on, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you receive more of our interesting videos. A global reserve currency is a national currency that's widely recognized across the planet since its value is expected to stay stable and the market for goods or services valued in that currency is extremely large and active. Reserve currencies are often introduced by major industrialized countries with a proven record of economic success. Along with the US dollar, the euro, Japanese yen, British pound, Swiss franc and Australian dollar are all held in reserve. According to a 2020 IMF study, the dollar is by far the most commonly held currency, accounting for 60% of all holdings. Numerous currencies were the world's preserved reserve currency before the US dollar, but each were eventually replaced by a rival currency. History has proved that no currency can be a world reserve currency indefinitely. So, the question isn't whether the US dollar will lose its function as the world's reserve currency, but how close we are to that stage and how would that affect our life. Primary benefit of holding a world reserve currency in international commercial ties is that it ensures international transactions run smoothly. When everyone uses the same money, trade becomes easier. This is especially important when trading with countries whose currencies are not broadly used beyond their frontiers or whose currencies are unreliable and fluctuate wildly. These countries rely on the dollar to buy and sell because their trade partners are unlikely to accept their risky currency as payment. Americans' transaction expenses are cheaper since the US issues the actual reserve currency. To do trade, Americans do not need to change dollars into foreign currencies. That task, as well as the exchange cost, is borne by their commercial competitors. Americans are also not exposed to an exact amount of currency rate risk, which is especially important in the case of goods, which are commonly priced and billed in dollars. More transactions are reported in dollars when numerous firms and individuals utilize the dollar. This enhances the dollar's liquidity, making it easy to appraise a company's assets and make loans more easily. Because the dollar is a reserve currency, US firms have easier accessibility to funds. Because such businesses may hire you or a member of your family, the dollar's strength helps you as well. Because the dollar is the worldwide reserve currency, it's easier for the United States to repatriate its debt. Because of the clear confidence in the dollar is becoming more popular as an international reserve currency. As a consequence, dollar-backed securities, such as US Treasury bonds, become more valuable. Countries frequently acquire these dollar-backed assets to increase the reliability of their own money supply. The profits from the sale of these bonds are used to satisfy US requirements and sustain the level of life of the US population. On this issue, professionals have diverse perspectives. While some believe the dollar is in good shape, others have watched its purchasing power erode and are wary of the currency. According to the Federal Reserve, the dollar is used in 40% of all global commercial transactions. When it comes to international cross-border transactions, the dollar always comes out on top, accounting for more than 80% of all transactions. However, this may soon alter as global confidence in the dollar begins to fade. The purchasing power of the dollar is gradually eroding. As the dollar's purchasing power declines, more countries may find it more beneficial to conduct business in other, more stable currencies, perhaps eclipsing the dollar as the world's reserve currency. And we're already witnessing it. The dollar's share of global official reserves has fallen to its lowest level in more than 25 years. The most serious issue with the dollar, as the world's favoured reserve currency, is that we have gone beyond our means. During the epidemic, the United States increased the amount of money in circulation, which resulted in higher costs. Here's a picture in which our already rising prices may rise merely because US corporations must trade with other currencies in order to buy the goods you and I want. Interest rates for people and companies in the United States are likely to rise as well, raising the cost of everything from purchasing a home to building a factory, resulting in higher costs. Not to mention the ease with which US corporations may borrow, which would become more difficult and expensive if the dollar loses its status as the world's reserve currency. If the US dollar does lose its role as the world's reserve currency, your hard-earned money may lose a significant portion of its worth. To put it another way, Americans' quality of life may collapse. It's time to protect your possessions. Many industry observers believe that a more equitable international reserve system that is less dependent on any specific currency would be better for the global economy. However, the path to this stage would be tough, with significant implications for currency rates and capital costs in many nations. We all utilize money. Hedging against the dollar is critical, especially given its present downward trend, and therefore you should act immediately. The dollar's status as the world's reserve currency is precarious, and it is likely to remain that way. However, for the dollar to lose its supremacy, it must be substituted. And while China's currency is in the greatest shape to win this game, institutional and political issues will keep the yuan chasing after the dollar for years, if not decades. Did you find this video interesting? If so, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments.